Malaria kills more than 600,000 people each year. Most of the victims are children in Africa. Ghana's government has cleared the new malaria vaccine for use in children between the ages of 5 and 36 months, with the hope of putting an end to malaria-related deaths in the country.
The efficacy again in the first year is around about 75%. So like most vaccines, this isn't perfect, it isn't 100% effective, but reducing the caseload and particularly deaths by 75% would be extremely important.
The vaccine was developed at the Jenner Institute at the University of Oxford in the United Kingdom. Clinical trials took place in 6 African countries before its usage was approved in Ghana.
The way this vaccine works is we've taken just one component of the malaria parasite. It's called the circumsporozoite protein, and that coats the parasite that is inoculated by a mosquito bite. So there are only about 10 or 20 parasites injected, if you like, by the mosquito, and they're all covered in this one protein. And what we've done is made a vaccine out of that protein that induces very strong antibody levels against the circumsporozoite protein and blocks its transmission. In other words, the immune system clears the parasites soon after they are injected into the skin by a mosquito.
The new malaria vaccine brings hope of ending the misery of the potentially fatal mosquito-borne disease.
We continue to follow up to make sure there aren't any late side effects from vaccination, and of course to determine how long the vaccine works for. And it might be that after 3 or 4 years, another booster dose would be required.
Scientists say its invention brings satisfaction to the years of hard work they put in while trying to discover.
This is a milestone for us. It's been 30 years in the making, this vaccine. There have been lots of candidates over 20 that we've taken into clinical trials and have not worked so well. But, from the outset, from 2012 in preclinical studies, 2015 in the clinic, this vaccine has looked very promising. So it's fantastic to see it come through to this stage.
The World Health Organization is considering whether to give its own seal of approval to the vaccine. In January, WHO announced that medical trials of the vaccine would be expanded to more countries across Africa.
So guys, in that video where you see that the Ghanaian government just approved the malaria vaccine for the babies and for people who have catch malaria in Africa. Because for some reason, they said that Africa have the deadliest mosquitoes, which for me, these mosquitoes was genetically engineered and manipulated with and then released in Africa, and then to see the damage it's going to cause, and then they come in and save you with vaccines. Anyway, I digest from that. This doctor, his name is Adrian Hill. He's Irish, but he studied in England. And he's also the director of the company that designed this vaccine, which is the Jenner Institute. Jenner Institute. He's the director of it. And also, this company was created in 2005. So let's say like 18 years, roughly. Is that long? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, why is it they're always testing these vaccines in Africa? Because he said out of his own mouth that they test this vaccine in 6 countries in Africa. Why? Don't they have testing facilities? Why don't they take the time to develop these things and test them as they always do? Is that nice? As they always do in labs. That's what they normally do. So this idea that they need to test it in Africa, I have an issue with. But at the end of the day, this is not the first time they have done this. They have done this during the World War, during the war. Remember with in Tulsa, with all the black people in it, the black pilots. What they did, they gave them the gonorrhea, right? Remember, and they instead of they cure them, they make the experiment last to see how long they can live with it and the effects it causes over different time periods. So it is not far-fetched to say that they are testing diseases in Africa and then come up with the vaccine for the first world, which is the West. So it's documented and proven before. So I'm not saying something that's ridiculous. So anyway, I am happy that this vaccine is at least approved by the Ghanaian government. It wasn't just forced on them, I hope. And I really hope they have transparency with the testing and the results before the Ghanaian government went and approved this vaccine. Because I don't want to hear that they have no major side effects after. And I do know no vaccine is 100%, but I do hope they work along with this institute and make sure everything's on the up and up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't know. It's the WSXM podcast. Tell a friend you don't know. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace. One love. Boom.